Hello, vinyl community. Tony P. coming at you from La Casa de Perla, the basement. The Queen is upstairs. We just came back from Dairy Queen. Yes. The Queen, at the Queen. Hot fudge sundae, whipped cream, dry nuts. You don't know what it's like with dry nuts. But anyway, I digress. We want to say that the music industry has lost an icon this week with the passing of Loretta Lynn, the queen of country music. I'm sure that my country western fans are very saddened by this news. She led a wonderful life, although she went through some tough times with her husband, Mooney, I guess that's what his name was. But nonetheless, a great voice, a great presence, excellent entertainer, and a magnificent artist. My deepest condolences to the family. On that note, let me say to you why I'm here. If you follow my channel, you know that I'm a big Linda Ronstadt fan. Have been for a couple of years, probably more now than younger, even though when I was younger, you know, any boy who was 15 years of age who had the gusto, they probably had, so this is my flicker. They also know that they had a thing for Linda Ronstadt. Let me put that terrible towel down because that's terrible too. But anyway, and I've been kicking around for quite a long time. I was thinking about doing some rankings on her albums that I have, taking a look, maybe a little bit of a deep dive into some of the albums that I have that belong to her musically. And I decided to have a series. Now, it's all up to you if I continue this series. We'll see what happens the first couple tries at this. I'm going to take one album at a time, discuss it, maybe discuss each track, and just tell you a little bit about what's going on with Linda Ronstadt. I'm also kicking around another series calling it Tony P's Playlist. Now, I don't show too many CDs in my channel, but I do listen to the CDs. I do collect them. So I was thinking about my playlist just being CDs mostly. So those are kind of things I'm kicking around. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see or like for me to do, please put them in the comments below and we'll go from there. And if I don't get a lot of views, people don't like this, then I won't continue. I will do something else. But let's go back to the main reason why I'm here, of Linda Ronstadt. Now, you know her as the lead singer for the group the Stone Ponies. Now, when she decides to go on her own, it's not like the Stone Ponies disbanded as much as they dispersed, because a lot of times they played along with Linda Ronstadt on some of her music, and you know, she goes out and finds another band on her own that will eventually become the Eagles. But let's talk about her first album that I have right here. Let me take it out of the plastic for you. It's called Sown and Homegrown. This is the back of the album. Now, I was watching a document. I don't even know if it's a documentary. It's by the YouTube channel Hike for Life, I believe it is. I'll go and find them and I'll put a link down below. And they go around and they look at the homes of the rock stars where they lived, and gives a little bit of history. Now, he did David Crosby's too, but he also does Linda Ronstadt. Now, he showed this Sown, Homegrown album, but it had a different cover. It had this stone house that she lived in. I want to say Topanga Canyon, but it may not be it. With her looking out the window, but I don't think that's. I think that was ever an album cover. And I sent a message to him. I haven't heard back, but this is the only one I've ever seen. Sown, Homegrown, with of course lovely Lynn in the front, and that girl we all fell in love with as 15-year-old boys. Now, this album is produced by Chip Douglas. Every time I say Chip Douglas, I always think of My Three Sons. Okay, anyway, Chip Douglas. Now, Chip Douglas was not one of the members of My Three Sons. He was, though, the bassist for the group The Turtles. And this album brings Linda away from folk music to what was the start of the folk rock music. Now, this album did not produce the commercial success that they thought they would be. I think it only sold 10,000 albums. But it starts her on her journey. You had a lot of people that she covered on here. She covers Bob Dylan, a few songs, Randy Newman, a few songs, and she even does one with, let me see if I can find him on here. Where are you? Kenny Edwards, The Long Way Round. So let's take a look at some of the tracks on here. Well, before we do that, it's probably important to note that she's not the Linda Ronstadt that we've all come to know later. She's the Linda Ronstadt that's still not quite sure. She's not quite sure of how powerful her voice is. She's not sure on, should she go back to folk? Should she just stick with country? Should she go country rock? So, and I believe, in my humble opinion, that this album still shows that uncertainty about what she wants to do. And if you listen to the first two tracks, now the first track's called, what is it? Baby, You've Been on My Mind. Now that's a Bob Dylan song. Now Bob Dylan writes this song traveling across Europe in 1964. He's just broken up with his girlfriend, Suzette Rodolo. And you can tell the sadness in the song. The title, Baby, You've Been on My Mind. It's a good song, but it's not, she's just not there in her voice. The background is still prominent. She's almost whispering, but you can tell the sadness is there, like some of her songs, even recently in her career, show that seldom sense of happiness, some loneliness. Dylan doesn't even record this song, I think, until 1991. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking that. But again, her voice not quite there. The second song, the second track, Silver Threads and Golden Needles. Now, this song stays with her for most of her career. It's one of her major songs throughout most of her sets in concert through the 60s and 70s. Now, I think Wanda Jackson recorded it first, but it was also recorded by the Springfields. And you might know who the lead singer for the Springfields was, a young lady by the name of Dusty Springfields. Even that song still not utilizes Linda's voice like it will in 1973 when she re-records it on her Don't Cry Now album. So the first two songs, to me, again, this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm guessing, okay? I'm guessing on a lot of this. And this is how I feel about it. Leave me a comment. Tell me how you feel. Track number 3. I Bet No One Ever Hurt This Bad. Now, this is a Randy Newman song. Again, it's like the first 2-3 songs. She's she holds back the reins of that voice. And the song is okay. I like it. But it's, again, doesn't display the tools that she has, the voice that she has. Randy Newman, now she's gonna get a couple other Randy Newman songs in the future. And Randy was critical later on with her, that he didn't like the way she interpreted his songs, but he would later recant that and say, she did a nice job and so on. But again, 1, 2, 3, a little bit reluctant on her songs. So again, very, very held back, very much knowing that she has a great voice, but not showing it well enough yet. She doesn't go out on it. Now, the next track is called A Number and a Name. This song, I can't figure it out. I cannot figure the song out. It's not a bad song, but it's not a great song. It's written. I forgot who wrote this. I can't remember. Is it Gillette? Yeah, Gillette writes this in Campbell, and it just doesn't fit. It's a country folk rock song, but it just doesn't fit. It does. I don't think it fits the album, and I don't think it fits her. And you know, in past interviews, Linda would say, "I do music that I think is really good." You know, and I'm not very quick to say some of the songs were dogs, but to me, this is one of the songs. The song's not bad, but it's definitely not good. I just don't think it's a very, very good song for her. However, that being said, the next song is Only Mama That'll Walk the Line. Now, this song is important for a couple of things. Even though this is another song that stays in one of Linda Ronstadt's sets, it doesn't really become famous by her, but it makes her famous nonetheless. She sings this song in 1969 on the Johnny Cash show, putting her in the forefront of an audience that will love her, the Johnny Cash show. She does that song. Now, the original title of that song is Daddy. She replaces the word mama, daddy with mama. It's only daddy that'll walk the line. And it propels her into the forefront here of musicdom. And it won't be until a year later that Waylon Jennings sings it on the same show and makes that song famous, that Linda Ronstadt sort of scoops him on it. And he makes it famous, but it also propels her in the forefront a whole year. In this song, you can almost feel her voice coming out. It's gritty, it's hard, it's a country song. You can imagine Waylon Jennings, but Linda Ronstadt sings it with gusto and greatness. It's wonderful. Okay, that's the one that'll propel her to famoushood. Now, The Long Way Around. The Long Way Around is written by Kenny Edwards. Now, Kenny Edwards is one of the founding fathers of the Stone Ponies, along with Bobby Kimmel. And you can tell this is a Stone Pony song by the way it's sung and by the way it's written. Good song, good for her, good position. She sings it well. She does a good job with it. Again, a little reluctant. Now, Kimmel and Kenny Edwards will go on writing songs for her and even joining her in some of her concerts. So that's side one. Again, good stuff, except for the number and a name. I think that was a dog on this album. A little reluctant in her voice. Side two. Side two comes out with John D. Loudermilk, Break My Mind. And I love this song. It is fantastic. Now you begin to see what she can bring to the table. Excellent singing, excellent voice. She propels it. She throws it out there. She sings it like it was her own. Okay, and it's a wonderful voice. It's an up-tempo song. It's that country rock that's just beginning to merge onto the scene. You might know John D. Loudermilk too. I think he wrote or produced songs for Paul Revere and the Raiders, Navajo, Arizona, I think it is. If you know that answer, hit me with the comments. but that was John D. Loudermilk. Now you hear her voice. Now it's fantastic. Second song, I'll Be Your Baby Tonight. This is probably one of my favorites. One of my early favorites of hers. Now it's written by Bob. I was gonna say Bob Owens. Bob Dylan. Beautiful song. It's up tempo. Now you hear that bluesy. You hear that sultry voice, that sexiness in her voice. You start to see the light. You start to see what she sounds like. Baby, you can walk the lane. The steel guitar by is it Randy Rhoads? Randy Rhoads plays with her on a couple albums. He's part of the Wrecking Crew, along with who else was on a Wrecking Crew in here? Larry Knechtel was there. Bernie Leadon from the Eagles is on this album, and I think Clarence White of the Byrds is on this album too. So you can see where some of the background is there. Now, what comes after? It's I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, a Chip Douglas tune. It's About Time. Now, again, Chip Douglas. My three sons. Chip Douglas was the bassist for the Turtles, but he goes on and produces a lot of things for the Monkees, Pleasant Valley Sunday, and Daydream Believers. So, he's not a bad guy to have around. Now, this song is bluesy, it's folk, it's rock, there's some great feelings. I believe he's singing along with her, but my research, there's good harmonies, but I can't say for sure if it was Chip Douglas singing with her. But it's a good song. It's excellent. It fits the mold for her other songs, for her other albums, I should say, and other songs. After that, you have We Need a Lot More of Jesus and a Little Less Rock and Roll. Now, this is a conundrum here. I'm not quite sure where this fits. And I think it was done with tongue-in-cheek, because here you are, a rock and roll star, and she's singing, a little bit more Jesus, a little less rock and roll. And I think it was put in there for fun, for a good song, for a good time. And I think it does a lot for her and for her album, for the people around her. That she's still fun-loving and she loves the music. Last track on the backhand side is called The Dolphins. And this was written by Fred Neil. And Fred Neil would write a lot of songs, but he was an activist for 30 years for saving and preserving the dolphins. And the song is a lot about that. It's a lot about the changing world. It's a lot about trying to save the world. It's a lot about getting along. It's a lot about peace in the world. And those are still things that resonate today. We need a lot of those things. And Linda does an excellent job with this song. Although the song is not one of the greatest, but she does make it her own, and I do like it. And all in all, this is the first step into her going out and becoming the Linda Ronstadt we know. Now, I want to say that George LPs and CDs, please, if I'm mistaken, please don't get me wrong. I think he sent me this. He found this in a thrift shop somewhere. I thank him for it. I think I have another one in there. But hand sewn and homegrown. This begins our love affair with Linda Ronstadt. Hey, boys and girls, if you like this, please subscribe to my channel. Please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, hey, tell me what I can do better. Tell me what you would like to see. But if this flops, I'll go do something else. See how the playlist works too. That may be coming up in the future. Okay, my friends, God bless you. May the force be with you. May all your records be flat, and may your stylus run true. Remember, peace, love, and rock and roll. Tony P loves you guys. The Queen's upstairs. Hank's laying down sleeping. And tomorrow's another day. God bless.